This could very well be the most important video beginner and amateur filmmakers need to see. My name is McCall, and today I'm going to inspire you to use what you have. Filmmaking is one of the fastest growing hobbies and even career in the world right now. Gear is becoming cheaper, technology is getting smarter, and companies are competing against each other harder than ever before for their place in the market. Not so long ago, just breathing the word filmmaking made people shy and hesitant to jump into the world of cinema productions because that meant big equipment, investing thousands of dollars into cameras and lenses, and large crowds of people helping to build the set. This all changed in 2008 when Canon introduced full HD footage at 24 frames per second and semi-pro features to the Canon 5D Mark II. They accidentally created an entirely new market called the indie filmmaker market. Film directors like myself were able to purchase relatively cheap cameras, lenses, and accessories from other indie constructed companies like Rode, Atomos, Tilta, and more. The market has now become even more affordable with price drops or subscription plans from some of the industry's leading software companies including Apple, Red Giant, Blackmagic, and even Adobe. New smartphones are hitting the market capable of 4K video and even slow motion, which seems to be a standard on most cameras these days. Mirrorless cameras are now starting to take over the market with their small form factor and insane feature set. You can even buy good quality cine lenses for the sub $250 price range. All this stuff sounds great, but there's still a big problem with most of the indie filmmakers of today. Most people get so wrapped up in building camera rigs with the latest and greatest equipment, they never get out and shoot, losing some of their creativity. Now, that doesn't mean that if you have a $50,000 Red Epic, you're not creative. And that doesn't mean that if you have a $50 mirrorless camera you bought used means that you're more creative or less creative. I'm just saying that people are so wrapped up in just building the biggest and nicest rig that they can get that some people just don't even get out there and shoot enough. It's so easy to overlook just how good our technology is. I know for a fact my iPhone 7 can outperform the first two cameras I learned filmmaking on, and I know that movies have been created on equipment less advanced than what I have today. A perfect example would be Shane Hurlburt's hit action movie, Act of Valor. Now, this feature film was shot across a few different cameras, but 90% of it was shot on the Canon 5D Mark II. Sure, he had top grade Zeiss glass on it. Sure, he had external recorders and monitors. He had lighting equipment, but the heart of it was the 5D Mark II. And that's astonishing because I know plenty of filmmakers of today that won't even shoot a short film on a 5D Mark III, leave alone a 5D Mark II. Everybody wants 4K. Everybody wants this glass. Everybody wants this. There's always going to be something bigger and better out there than what you have. I found myself today struggling to keep up with the market. With all this being said, that doesn't mean do not go out there and invest money into something that you will use a lot. I personally have a couple different cameras, and my Sony A7R II is my go-to photography camera. So I started taking my filmmaking career a little more serious around the 2013-2014 time frame. As a matter of fact, the end of 2014 is when I made my first big short film, Unmasked. Now, whenever I got started with photography and filmmaking, I actually bought the Nikon D70. This was my very first camera right here. And actually, this was a 35mm lens that I got in a kit from B&H. This was a great starter camera for me, and the reason why I still have it today is because I refuse to sell it. This camera reminds me of what I got started on. You know, technology has gotten so good that sometimes we kind of look at this stuff and we're like, no, I want something better. I want the Sony FS5. I want a Red Epic, whatever the case may be. You know, technology has just gotten so good, we're kind of spoiled with what we have. But even today, this video from this camera holds up in these YouTube videos I'm putting out. And then at the end of 2014, I upgraded, got the Sony A7, and I went ahead and got that with the 28-70 kit lens, as well as this Zeiss 35mm f2.8 pancake lens. I refuse to sell this lens because, for one, it makes a great travel lens and it's a Zeiss brand, but this And that 28-70 kit lens is all I had for about 3 years. But I made it work, guys. I would throw my camera into like an APS-C mode so I could get that extra reach and make like a 50mm shot, and then I'd back it back to a 35, and I maxed out my camera's capabilities using these two lenses with the original A7. So don't get discouraged when you see 4K video and you see Zeiss glass and you see all this stuff out there on the market. Use what you got to its fullest capabilities. So I compiled another video for you guys inside of this video. Take a look at this. All right, so there's video A on the left and there's video B on the right-hand side. I want you guys to tell me which video is higher quality. Do you prefer A or B video? Okay, now this is the interesting part. Video A was shot with the iPhone 7. Video B was shot with the Sony A7R II, rigged up in its camera cage with the Atomos Shogun Inferno. That's interesting because they were both 4K video, but once YouTube gets a hold of it, compresses it, most of the stuff is digital content anyways through YouTube, Vimeo, Facebook, yada yada, you can't really tell the difference. So it's like, what is the point of having all this stuff if you can't tell the difference? So this just goes to show that you don't have to have the nicest equipment. Just get out there and start shooting. Here's another cool example. So camera and lenses and accessories, that's just one part of using what you have. What about lighting or something like that? I want you to take a look at this. You see how much brighter my face just got? So there is a big difference there. And all I'm doing is I'm using a white poster board that I bought at the BX for 50 cents, I believe. I'm bouncing a light, that's all I'm doing from the side of my face. And if you guys want to know what the light source is, check this out. This is literally a $10 item with about a $5 bulb, and you can get a package of 2 of these for about 30 or 40 bucks off eBay, Amazon, any of those places like that. Not a lot of people want to get out there and shoot with their iPhone or shoot with the cheap, DSLR that they have, but you know what? When I got started in short filmmaking, I had a $35 pawn shop camera, and it was awful content. The stuff that I made was crap, but I practiced panning and tilting. I practiced how to flare a lens. I even figured out what ISO was because I tried my first night shoot and it just went awful, it went terrible. But the thing is I was practicing and I was becoming creative with my shots. Just get out there and start shooting with what you have and get creative. Don't copy others and put your own touch on your artwork, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. Stay tuned for future releases. As always, I'm McCall.